Welcome back to Let's Play Higurashi, Watanagashi. Where the hell did I put that bloody thing? Oh, it's right there. Okay, let's quickly. Word of the day, look in the English section for once. How about Hana, nose. As in, nose as in, everyone has a nose, for smelling on the face. That type of nose. Hana. That's out of the way. We're not going to continue. I'm getting that quickly out of the way because I'm going to, I can't remember. How did I, those two very atmospheric sounding tracks? I figured out the melody, like the notes. How'd one of them go? I can't really tell the difference between them because they're kind of similar, but when they actually play, it's quite easy to distinguish. Let's see. Okay, the notes are G, D, C sharp, A, C, D, F. That's kind of interesting because it's like changing key then. The other one that I figured out is kind of similar. How'd it go? That one's from G to D, so it's obviously got to be D for that one, which... See, this one's kind of similar, because it's D, but instead of being the C sharp, it's like D, B, C, G, A, F, G. The reason I see them similar is because they're using quite a lot of the same notes. But then it has a bit where it's like... That's pretty much like... I think the second or third time round it's like... It does those first three notes, then it does the other two notes, but then it goes back through B and C to D. Quite simple, but quite effective. It's like, I can imagine that being like, I don't know, maybe modal-wise, could play that as like, D, Dorian. Anyways, let's continue. Immediately get an interruption, but it was brief. Loading. It's quiet. Too quiet. Actually, another one. I just don't remember how it went. Yeah, I can't remember. You remember that one piano piece? I think it was in F minor. But I can't remember it. So I didn't really figure it out. I just figured out one little part of it. Kind of like, how would that go? No, I don't know. I have no idea. This one I haven't figured out though. Okay, let's figure out how many notes are in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bing. That might be an A. I'd probably be best suited to try to figure it out, you know, in my own time, when recording's kind of, it's a bit, you know, like, time-consuming. Well, it's time-consuming anyway, but it's more relaxed if I'm just, like, say I'm editing and I just pick up my guitar randomly and try to figure out something. It's much easier, that's how I figured out. Nope. Wait, no, actually. No. No, I'm thinking of the other one, I think. No, there was... One random note is I've got this guitar tuned to drop D. Been listening to Foo Fighter songs from my guitar tune, and I gotta say, Everlong is a bitch because of the rhythm. It's like... It's like I get lost because of the... It's like doing like this kind of switching between the strings. It really confuses me and throws me off all the time. But let us focus on reading, shall we? That's like 7 minutes of just messing around with the guitar. We're gonna have this as a background again. Fuck. The problem with twins is it's not limited to just enemies are, but in only unfortunate areas, especially the three families statistic giving birth to twins as successors. You know, in a way it makes sense. It's like, look at a history, for example. Well, you know, it's like they obviously must have been like, oh, we'll have one child, so we won't have to deal with this whole rivalry between brothers and sisters, or brothers and sisters and shit like that. Just if you look at history, like, when it comes to having a successor and all that, in, like, royalty, for example, they have multiple kids, and then they just, like, it isn't, like, all friendly sibling rivalry, it just turns into, I'm gonna assassinate you, bitch! Just, like, family, right? Great stuff. Taking it to the extreme. They wouldn't want, you know, to have, like, the kids fighting over who gets to be the rightful successor, would they? If it's twins, it's like probably even worse for that. Long-term dictatorship built on the precarious bounces of the families must have feared collapsing under the weight of internal strife from things like family quarrels. According to the literature, if twins were born, then they had to be girls. With that, the very fact that both the Sonozaki family successor, Mion Sonozaki, and her twin Shion are alive and is in itself deeply interesting. Perhaps the current leader, Oreo, is sympathetic. Well, one thing that is like, it's kind of like vaguely pointed out at one point, is that Mion is the successor despite her having no... Like, her mother is the daughter of Oreo, who is the grandmother. And why isn't she the successor? Maybe that's why. Like, connected, you know. Of course, the twins were not cared for equally, and as their hair, Mion received special treatment. From what I've heard, despite the two of them looking exactly the same as the outside, on the outside, the talent lies solely with Mion. My own observations of the two of them don't leave me with that impression. Tradition, states that the leader of the Sonozaki family is said to inherit a demon and a tattoo a magnificent one onto his or her back. In accordance with the tradition, there is an extremely high possibility that Mion has such a tattoo on her back. Well, that must be shit going to places like, what are they called? Those, like, spa-like areas. It must be a pain in the ass to that. It's just like, what is this tattoo all about? Especially in Japan, because they have, like, they have a from what I can tell, a different view of tattoos compared to how we in the West, if I recall. From what I've heard, there's apparently a magnificent demon tattooed on Orio's back as well. Then I wonder what sort of tattoo belongs to the ham Mion. I really want to see her back. Can you imagine her Takano going up to Mion? Hey Mion, can I see your back? Like, what? At the Shizu Mahjong parlor. Ah, bloody Mahjong. We'll see a lot of Mahjong in the 4th question mark. Reserved for the day, Shizu Mahjong parlor. Clacker clack. Hey, Keiichi, you're the last one here. All the youngsters are here already. Excuse me, miss. I wish you handed out the convenience store bag with a carton of cigarettes in it to the old lady who owned the Mahjong parlor, and she shrewdly made herself scars. I keep forgetting that this is the nickname that his colleagues have given to Ooishi. It's because his last name is Kurodo. Sounds like crowd, doesn't it? Crowdo? Ooishi handed over a convenience store bag with a carton of who owned the Mahjong parlor, and she surely made herself scars. She was used to this by now. Ooishi-san, good work today. What were you all earnestly waiting for me? You could have just done free play. Everyone sitting at the Mahjong tables in the small parlor were Ooishi's subordinates, but there were no tiles laid out anywhere. This place, man. All these trees must look fancy, but you know what? Look at the freaking chairs, man. What is up with this color? It literally looks like mold, but that's probably because of the posterized effects. It's like, this place looks pretty abandoned. Look, you've even got trees growing in here. Did I skip a line? Everyone sitting at the Mahjong table was Ooishi's subordinates, but there were no dogs later yet. Everyone, I'd like to thank you for your days of investigation without sleep. Thank you! Energetic responses filled the parlor. Already, as it lost the atmosphere of the police have been detained. Situation's not looking good. The chief appears to back down due to Congressman Sonozaki Springs. In the coming days, we'll hand off Takano's murder to the Yupa police and give the missing persons case of the disappearance of the mayor and the others to the community division. That damn upstart chief. The veterans in the room cursed him. Well, if they saw the guy who was showed up at the office, he'd be like, oh yeah, I can see why. He does not seem like a pleasant person. Just like, what the hell gives you the right to do that, you son of a bitch? We can have you demoted on the fly. We can just fuck you. All of our requests for warrants were turned down as well. I've even been told by our section chief not to go anywhere near the Sonozaki house. We're certainly in a bind that we are. It certainly looks like I'll be getting orders soon to go to training at the Metropolitan Police Department starting next week. After that, I've even been told to take a paid vacation in Easy. Well, I suppose that ain't bad. He heard a few dry laughs, and it wasn't anything to laugh about, but that was all they could do. So happens, but instants are a lot like locking your keys in the car. The keys you need to unlock the door are always locked inside. Because you call Jeff and you'll AF, and they'll pry open your door. For instance, Kuma-chan, show them out. Kuma-chan flipped over the whiteboard, that's his name. On the back was a map of the Sonozaki premises made with magnets. Now, I've been doing this job for a long time. I've got a lot of faith in my guts, but this could be the one time it was wrong. Anyone worried about the retirement money has until the count of 10 to get out of here. Ooishi began to count to 10, and everyone counted along with him. It was their famous 10-count resolution. 9, 10. Ah, no one's leaving. None of you love your families too much, is that it? Everybody laughed uproariously, cheering things up. It's like, wait, was what Ooishi said true? Or was it just that they got confidence that this will work. I want everyone to go over their materials. Memorize the locations and blind spots of all the security cameras. Kuma-chan, you'll stand by in the command car. If something happens, you'll switch from me and take over. Tomiyama-kun will head up Infiltration Team A. Atsushi-kun will lead Team B. Observation teams will set up at points 1 through 8. Bunch-kun, you're responsible for keeping a strict timetable. Control your rotations so HQ doesn't get harmed. Now the team on standby has the most important job, alright? If the section chief asks where I am, play dumb. I'll handle escorting our guests. I'll probably take them to the venue, so wait patiently, everyone. I wonder if he'll cave. Keiichi my bar, that is. From what I've seen, we've set for tomorrow or the day after in that regard. It'll be easy. What's Ooishi got plans? Achievement unlocked, Detective Watanagashi. That means that's the last of the tips. You know what that means? It means we're going into the final chapter. Because there's always tips after every chapter. This question arc is considerably longer than the first one. Who's speaking? Okay, I get it. Keiichi! Just leave him alone. His friends went missing. It must be really hard for him. Normally my dad never shows me any consideration, but this time he did. Or maybe it was the other way around and I'm misinterpreting. Shouldn't Keiichi stay home from school for a while too? I figured, well, if it's shown consideration, then it must be his dad saying as well. Shouldn't Keiichi stay home from school for a while too? I think it would be safe enough to go until the police do something about this. Maybe, compared to what could happen, taking a few days off wouldn't be a bad idea. Anyway, how is it logical not to close school during such a dangerous situation? What do those teachers think our children are? Mom and Dad were getting pretty riled up, but at this point I couldn't care less. Besides, that wasn't the only thing I couldn't care less about. The breakfast table, the food in front of me, the time and dates myself, I really had no interest in anything. This feeling, it was like a dead plug in my mind, just like getting dizzy after taking strong medication. You know, if you really put things into perspective here, Satoko and Rika went missing on a presumed dead, not just dead, but to have been murdered. Can you, well, just like, the horrifying thing is some people actually experience shit like this. I mean, that is terrible. I don't know who's speaking in that line, man. You don't give any freaking... I'm just gonna assume his mother, because she's usually the one that's inquisitive about him, really. Keiichi, how are your studies going? You've gotten further than the other kids, haven't you? If you have, then you can take a few days off, alright? I mean, she's the one that's usually like, no, Keiichi, you have to go to school. And it's just like, hey, no, she'd be the one more like, well, I guess your father has a point, so blah, blah. I didn't even feel like answering. Today was Thursday. Only 4 days have passed since the Watanagashi festival. A lot more days have passed, record-wise though, and upload-wise, isn't it? It feels like the longest 4 days ever there, doesn't it? Such a short time, and yet now things were completely different. I mean, it could have been read in just one freaking sitting, really. It would have taken hours, but yeah. But it's felt even longer because I don't like record it all in one go, do I? So I don't end up reading through it all in one go as a result. So in the end, now things were completely different. Everything had changed. The mood, everything had changed since the night of the Watanagashi. As usual, as I pointed out, that's usually the turning point. From where it like goes from happy-go-lucky to oh shit just got real. The tranquil village, bright and clear as if it were an Indian summer, had undergone a total reversal. People were made in this sphere every night, and we couldn't even relax when walking out in broad daylight. It should become a world of fear. Also, one thing I noticed when I uploaded, not the previous part, but the part before it the other day. I'll be uploading the previous part today, I suppose, but the part before that, when I'd said, like, no, you didn't talk to Shion last night. It's because of how confusing it is, because of how, like, long it takes to get to the next night and all that. But technically he did, because that's when he talked to Shion on the phone and found, like, where it clicked in his mind that Rika might be in trouble, and that's how it all escalated from there, isn't it? I had no right to curse this outcome. After all, the one responsible for everything was me that night. Oh, that's another thing I noticed. This whole soundtrack is on YouTube. I never noticed it before. I remember looking for this specific track so many times back in the day when I originally read them. I was like, what is this track called? I think it's... Actually, I forget what it's called, actually. Shit. Oh, it had a very distinct title. But it's on YouTube. I only found it in a playlist. Like, search like Higurashi question arcs soundtrack, and look for the playlist that has that in the title, and it's pretty much got the tracks that we use here. Because there's like, apparently Manga Gamer also did their own version with the soundtrack, but I've never heard it. Because even when I played the question arcs back in the day, it didn't have like different tracks, but apparently there are different tracks as well. And I'd like art from Manga Gamer there as well, so I'm kind of confused by that. Or maybe it was just an updated version at some point. And to be fair, this is the Manga Gamer version as well, but I got it off Steam, so maybe it's a different one used. I don't know. The only reason I got it on Steam is because, one, I noticed it was on Steam, and two, when I tried to get it off Manga Gamer, I couldn't freaking get the payment right, so I was like, screw it. I'll see if it's anywhere else. Well, yeah. I don't think I really thought it would be anywhere else, but the fact that it's on Steam kind of surprised me. There's like, finally, a reason to use Steam again! It's just like, because I've never used Steam, the only time I've used it for a game was Dreadouts, and that was years ago, and I still haven't completed that game because I suck at PC controls, and my laptop can't run worth shit for games. But anyways, I'm kind of getting a bit off topic. That night I couldn't resist my honestly tiny little and incredibly stupid curiosity and dropped it at me. This isn't somewhere we should be going, is it? Let's not. It's a crime to force your way into a locked building even if you don't steal anything. John now let you know they're having some secret rendezvous. You've had enough, right? I don't want to do something like this. What if Rika-chan ends while we're messing around here? I prattled on as I took the lock from Takano's hands and put it back on the door. I forget everything I saw here, so come on. Let's go, let's go! Takano-san was fretting, but I pushed her away. Takano-san grinned painfully. Shion's shoulders drooped as if to call me an idiot. Even so, I didn't care. I pushed ever and further until away. Rika-chan's dance was still going on. Then at last, her dance was brought to a close with a roaring applause. I too, till my hands turned red, I clapped, and I clapped. If only that were the case, Keiichi. Ding-a-dong. I'm just gonna assume that he's, I don't know. Isn't that Rena-chan? She's here because it's your usual meet-up time, isn't she? I looked up at the clock. It was 5 minutes past my time to meet with Rena. Keiichi, shouldn't you take a few days off from school? You're right. Thanks for being so considerate. I rose from my seat. I went to the entrance to greet Rena. Good morning. We're going to school as a group starting today, so you can't be late. Ah, that's right. Well, what's he going to do about that then? If we, the ones first away, were to be late, the younger kids on the way there would be waiting for us. I figured I'd get them to take some time off from school. Okay. Rena answered shortly, nodding. I think you should do whatever is best for you, Keiichi-kun, so you don't need to feel that you're weak or anything. Oh, and here. It's a notice there standing around. Could you give it to your mom? I think it has a lot of important announcements in it. I took the notice. There are a lot more pages than normal. The one on top announced the disappearance of the mayor, Higurashi and Satoko, and that they wanted any information about them. It made my heart ache. The police are looking as best they can too. They'll find them for sure. Just be patient, okay? Rena said, smiling in an attempt to give me courage. Rather than that, though, her smile looked like it was because she herself wanted to believe they were safe. Rena, you're not going to question me? Nope. Rena, you know, don't you? About that night when You mean when you snuck into the ritual storehouse? I was speechless for a moment, but then I bit my lip, made up my mind, and so it's all out in the open. Really, I shouldn't do bad things like that. Mion was really mad. So she was upset. I suppose she would have been. I don't think she was as angry about you sneaking in there, though, as much as about you hiding it from her. Maybe, Keiichi, maybe you should have told her yourself and apologized. I should have told her myself and apologized. That troubled me. Just 1 week ago, I did something that I myself should have apologized to Mion for. I'd hurt her badly, but I hadn't realized that at all. You know, it all comes back to that now that I think about that. Remember the start of this arc? With the games and like that doll? And then they had that moment where he realized they're just like, oh, he unintentionally had upset Mion by not giving the doll to her. So you wanted to make it up to her, and then Shion trolled him by being like, oh yeah, by the way, we actually are real twins. It's like, you thought that I was Mion right there, and you were gonna give the doll to me, you idiot, and now you pissed off Mion even more. Well, upset her at least. You fool. Plus, with all the confusion that Shion's appearance had brought, I still hadn't been able to talk to Mion about it. Rena, you're right. I never realized anything until you tell me. Keiichi-kun, hypothetically, if you had maybe done something wrong right away and apologized to me-chan, I wonder if Higurashi and Satoko-chan wouldn't have had to disappear. I couldn't answer right away. That's... Why'd she say that, of all things? Maybe... because it's all connected to that. Maybe she's meaning... Because that's a bit of an odd thing for her to say there. With no music cue to be like, or like Keiichi to be like, hey, Rena, why do you say that? Are you suspecting that Mion's behind this? Or are you suspecting that if you told Mion about it, she would have been able to get to the bottom of this long before it escalated? Possibly the latter. I couldn't admit to that. Wasn't Rena telling me right now, though, that I should have admitted to my crime sooner? If I had done that and apologized, would things not have gone in such a horrible direction? Rena's eyes were filled with kindness, but they weren't naive enough to forgive me for keeping silent. They said, fixedly into my room. Yeah, you're right. If I had admitted my crime sooner, Higurashi and Satoko wouldn't have had to die or disappear. Smirk! The palm of Rena's hand slapped me in the cheek. I stood there unmoving, my head still tilted in the direction I'd been hit. It didn't hurt at all. I wanted anyone to scold you, Keiichi-kun. Suppose scold you in their place, okay? She doesn't. With the voice I give her, she doesn't sound like she's scolding him, does she? The voice I had given her that one time where she did that legitimately scold him, though, was a bit more fitting, wasn't it? I pressed a hand to my cheek, now warm with embarrassment, and quietly stared down at Rena's feet. Oh, there's her scornful face. Going somewhere you're not allowed to go to was a very bad thing to do. Do you understand that? Uh-huh. Answer me with a yes. Keiichi-kun. Yes. Oh my god, the more I look at it, the more fitting it is that in the anime, her voice actors, like I've pointed out before, is the same voice actress who voiced Nagisa in Clannad. And they even have the same way of scolding there. That's one thing they got going for them in similarities. If anything, it's the only one I can think of. Well, they're both nice, kind of, and a bit more kind of like, have that kind of shy nature, I guess. But there's a bit more to Rena than that, isn't it? But the way she's scolding him reminds me of how Nagisa would scold Tomoya, in that kind of way where it just comes across as like, kind of cute rather than like, overly just like, I'm really angry at you. Also, what's even worse, you didn't admit to having done something so bad. You should never do anything bad in the first place. Not admitting to it or apologize for it is much, much worse. Yes, I was wrong. For a few moments, Rena stared at me silently and intently, as if gorging my remorse. Then finally the tension in her face softened and she smiled. Okay then, it's about time. I should be going. Alright. Be sure to give the notice to your mom, okay? Also, warn her not to go out to pass it on after, or not to go out to pass it on after it gets dark. I bent down to pick up the notice, which I dropped when she stopped me. The pages had come out of the clasp and were now making a mess on the floor. I gathered them up one by one. My hand stopped at a single more light-hearted page, with peaceful sentences dancing on it. We still have plenty of homemade soy sauce in stock. Feel free to come to the Sonozaki house if you want some. What is this? I picked up the page and scanned the rest of it. It was stockpiling high-quality soy sauce they got from faraway relatives in the Akita prefecture. They had gotten a big shipment recently. They couldn't use it all, so they wanted anyone who wanted some of it to feel free to come over, is what it said. As a PS, it said it arrived in barrels and to please bring a 2-liter bottle or a container for it. That's how it tied together. If you need some soy sauce, then you would go to the Sonozaki house. If you need some soy sauce, then you would go to the Sonozaki house. Rena, did you know all along? This is the music that I was talking about. I've got it plugged in. No, it's not that bit I'm thinking of. And I hate how the high E string sounds out to the amp on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an amp mine. Yeah, I knew. Rena had already been suspicious of Mion as soon as she noticed that the big bottle of soy sauce was missing. Oh, I'm slow there. Oh, shit, son. It all comes back to Rena's theory. Her note, what she noticed. Oh, shit. Rika-chan had taken the bottle and gone to Mion's house, and there, she's erased. Rika-chan wasn't coming back, so Satoko called Mion's house, and she knew where she had gone. Then Satoko got called there as well. That meeting on the day the maid disappeared, did Ooishi-san say, at the 3 families participated in it. The 3 families would include the Sonozaki family. Can you also say that the current leader was really old, so her hair Mion frequently stood in for her at public appearances? While the mayor was returning from the shrine, Mion called out and stopped him. She talked to him and invited him to their house, and then she made him disappear. Ooh, man. This could have all been resolved, possibly, maybe, if Ooishi had just, like, well, he didn't have a chance in hell of getting, like, a permit to investigate the Sonozaki house, would he? But it's got me curious now. That has. I wonder. I mean, I know how the whole plot plays out ultimately, but it's been years since I read them, you know. It was probably even simpler to make Shion disappear. Shion was part of the Sonozaki family. They probably knew exactly what she was doing at all times. I'm sure they even knew her part-time job schedule too. Thinking back, wasn't that Angel Lord store managed by the Sonozaki family? Setting up an ambush for her there wouldn't have been any trouble at all. I'm going to Mion. I'll go apologize. I'm going to have a put an end to everything. Mion probably won't forgive me easily, but I'll go and ask her, not to sacrifice anyone else. With that decided, there was no need for me to be lazing around here. I put on my shoes and slipped past Rena to exit the house. When she stopped me, I'm going too. Rena, shouldn't you go to school? This is way more important than school. Rena, you shouldn't come. If you get wrapped up in this too, then I think I might actually go crazy. Rena didn't move her arm, which was blocking my way. If Keiichi-kun disappeared as well, then I think I might actually go crazy too, so I won't let you go alone. It's dangerous to go alone, Keiichi. Take me with you. I will be the sword. Rena argued boldly as tears welled up in her eyes. I saw them and I knew the strength of her resolve. All right, let's go. Thank you, Rena. Rena nodded slightly but firmly and finally let down the arm blocking me. Let's go to Mion's house. I'll apologize for the crimes I've committed. Then we'll put an end to these twisted days. After that, I'll pray that once more we can return to those fun, lively days. I don't really see how you could return to your fun, lively days if it turns out that she's behind all this, you know. With Rena following me, I left the house. In front of the house, there was a car waiting. It was Ooishi-san. Hey, good morning, my Bara-san. You too, Ryuga-san. Together so early in the morning, you make me jealous. What a truly praiseworthy man he was if he had been laying in wait so early in the morning just to pressure me into talking. On this morning, though, maybe this was actually a good opportunity. From the police? Oh, have I not introduced myself to you, Ryuga-san? Please excuse my rudeness. My name is Ooishi from the Okamiya Police Department. Pleased to meet you. Are we... Oh, it was that. Are we telling Ooishi-san? Yeah, I think my palm is enough punishment for your crime, Keiichi-kun, but we should leave me chance to these people. Pain and sadness looked down as those emotions built up in my heart. We have something to tell you, Ooishi-san. Well now, what about it? Should we stand here and talk, or go inside the car? In the car, please. I continued to look down weakly. All I could do was be thankful for how dependable Rena was. At Rena's urging, I revealed everything to Ooishi-san. The latter, while making sure to throw in murmurs that he was paying attention every now and then, took notes. We continued that way for a while. How do you feel? Don't you feel a lot better now that you've told me? Ooishi-san asked this while scratching his head with his ballpoint pen. Of course I don't feel better. The price that had been paid up until now for me not owing up to my crimes had been so immense, But as long as that payment wasn't returned, the load on my chest could never be removed. His radio started to emit static. This is Kumatani. Ooishi-san, over. Yes, hello. This is Ooishi. We got news a few minutes ago that she's been absent from school. No movement at the Sonozaki house. Our target is still out on the premises. Yes, good. Keep a close watch out. Roger that. Cars 3 and 7 just arrived for support and we're returning to base. Also, I think the division chief is looking for you, Ooishi-san. He keeps annoying me too, even though I keep telling him I'm trying to get in touch with you. What should I do? If you're hard-pressed for an answer, tell him you're actually under orders not to wake me from my morning nap. Got it. The radio grew silent. Sorry about that. It was about work. You just said there was no movement at the Sonozaki house, didn't he? Oh my, did it sound like that to you? This won't do. Please keep that a secret, all right. I don't have permission from the division chief to be making private inquiries like this. Ooishi-san had suspected Mion for a long time. Nor for questioning witnesses or for searching houses. We don't have permission for anything, really. The Sonozaki house's defenses said to protect the family members are also in full working condition. Without a warrant, we can't do anything about anything, unless the crime happens right in front of us. Well, isn't there something convenient about this situation? Ooishi-san, could you be... Rena's tone of voice alone was enough to make her spite clear as she stared at Ooishi-san. Look at that face. Pat on the head. You can't set foot in the Sonozaki house. Are you trying to get Keiichi to go in there instead? Rena, that's... what do you mean? This person just left 40 plays really dirty. Stop, you're hurting my reputation. That said, I'm all ears to your explanation, okay? Ooishi-san lit a cigarette and responded to Rena, wearing an expression implying he was calm and willing to let her comment slide. You can't get a warrant, but you always had your eyes on Michan because you thought you were suspicious. Yes? You plotted to incite Keiichi-kun and have him go to the Sonozaki house. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's obviously the plan here. And if something would have happened, then you would have used that as an excuse to go in. Isn't that right? I only understood about half of what Rena was saying. I knew, however, that Ooishi-san had been trying to use me. Even if Keiichi-kun got hurt as a result, have you no shame? Is this how the police do things? My. It seems we have an incredible detective on our hands. Oh my. Would you be interested in taking our exam? I'd gladly write a recommendation letter to get you into the detective division. It is like, when you think about it, Rena is the one who's kind of like, noticed the whole soy sauce thing. She's got potential, man. You're despicable. Rena spoke quietly, her words dripping with hostility. My voice acting does not give, what's the word I'm looking for? Credibility to the scene. I don't know. I can't freaking think of the word. I've been insulted in all kinds of ways in my life, but 1 or 2 words from a young girl is always the roughest for me. Even so, I suppose I should thank you for not arresting Michan yet. Don't mention it. Ooishi-san seemed to be enjoying his exchange with Rena. The things this man fought were like a swamp. I could barely see past the surface. It reminded me again of how much I disliked him. Now then, as 2 assumed friends of Mion Sonozaki-san, what do you plan on doing now? Will you wait kindly for me to go over the evidence and request a warrant? No, we won't wait for that. We'll go and make Michan surrender herself. That's right. If she turned herself in rather than be arrested, she might get a lighter sentence. At this point, perhaps that was the only pity I could find within me to afford her. I see. I wonder if it will go that well. If you're careless, you two may face danger, you know. Ooishi-san was measuring our resolve. So in a strong voice I declared, we're fully prepared. Ooishi-san gave us an unpleasant yet seemingly satisfied grin. It was then that I realized this man was trying to use us for his own convenience.
If anything should happen to us, use that as an excuse. Though my greatest hope is that you will surround the place so that the criminal can't get away.
Ringo-san, you're good at negotiating too. I am throwing in the towel. I surrender. What are you talking about?
If the policemen surround Michan's house, then that will be insurance for the worst case scenario. The worst case.
Plus, it would be another way of pressuring Mion to give herself up, wouldn't it? Ooishi-san to Kuma-chan. Ooishi to Kuma-chan. Ooishi to Kuma-chan. This is Kumatani. Go ahead. Our two friends are going to play at the Sonozaki house. Make arrangements so that we can reinforce them if needed. Roger. Their altogether too short conversation implied that our questioning was already a part of their plan. Then let's get going. Went to buy some tea biscuits on the way there. Now Rena and I went along with Ooishi-san's stupid joke. Serious matters, Ooishi. Ooishi stopped the car at the place where we always waited for Mion. Now, every time I see this background, I always picture like a well, like right inside this little thing here. Is it like a proper building? Because you can't see around it, and it's like overgrown now, but it's probably like a full building, obviously. Honestly, it looks more the size of a shed than a house. Maybe it is, I don't know. And this right here, this type of roofing just makes it look way more ancient, which it probably is, because these are actual pictures from a real life village that inspired, you know, the location. Because it's pretty much using images from said location, so it's like an actual village, minus, you know, the whole plot of this actually being a part of it. Makes you wonder, like, the people that visit that village, just like, wow, they obviously, like I said at one point, I've seen pictures from it, and they actually do have, like, some kind of, like, Higurashi stuff there. Like, there's one place that has, like, a couple of, like, stuff for it, and there's even statues of the main characters, like, I don't know how big statues are, but they look like, the, you know, statues from the original art style, which is kind of interesting. But it makes me wonder how old the village is based off of actually is. We should stop the car at the place where we always waited for me. I just remembered. One of those tracks that I figured out how to play on my guitar, I actually originally figured it out on my keyboard. What helped to figure it out was because it's clearly like, it doesn't use any sharps or flats, so it's just a white key, so it's easier to figure out. Because if it used any other key, then, or what, I'm not even sure if it's really using a key in general. Well, it did seem like it was using C major, A minor, but if it was using any other key, then I'd have to like go through the black keys as well. There's like, how many of those are there? There's 5 of those. So it'd make it more confusing. It'd be like, if there was like also an F sharp in there, it'd be like, could be E minor, G major, but then what if it has like a G sharp in there? Then it's suddenly like, oh, it could be E major all of a sudden, but then it could be something else as well. It's just confusing. But it didn't seem that many of those. The only one that, the other one had a C sharp, but it also had a C, so it was clearly changing key. I figured that one out on my guitar, but whatever. What was the point of me bringing that up? It was probably when the music was going like do 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 do. I was just thinking, I'd probably have better freaking luck figuring that out if I played it on my keyboard. But I think F minor has quite a few sharps or flats. How many would that have? I'm trying to work it out in my head because it's not a key I tend to play a lot. What is the relative major to that minor key? F major. That'd be G sharp or A flat, I guess. What's confusing me about that is because I can't tell when a sharp is a sharp and a flat is a flat unless it's like a very obvious key. Like I know that B flat would be in F major, that's the only one it's got. And I know all the ones in E major are sharps. It's like it only can just be one or the two and it confuses me. Anyways, we should stop the car at the place where we always waited for Mion. Come to think of it, I've never been to Mion's house before. I've only heard that it's right down this road.